Today, we're going to start on the magic of charcoal. Charcoal, which is the best drawing instrument of all, and the first drawing instrument of all. So exactly as before we did our lines, we have to do them again. Now we do them with charcoal. So, from the one end of the paper, unbroken, try and make a nice join there, unbroken to the other end of the paper. So again, make it smooth, slow. Slowness is the secret. Now we're going to vary the hardness, the pressure. So to vary the hardness, hold the charcoal a little bit closer to the top and then draw it as lightly as you can and then lean in onto it. Lean in on it. Up and lean in. Don't break the charcoal. If it breaks, it's no problem, but it's very hard breaking. Like that. So that third line has got variation of hardness. And so will this fourth line. Dark, light, lighter, darker, dark, light, and dark. Okay, so there's a little smudge, charcoal smudges. That is part of the magic of charcoal, is that it smudges. Okay, so we can get direction, and we can draw with the charcoal extremely narrow. I'll keep it in one pressure, and widen the charcoal so it comes on its side, and we are in essence scraping the charcoal sideways. So it becomes very, 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 very broad as the charcoal, as the charcoal flattens on the one end. So that's another kind of a variation. We've got the variation of speed, we've got the variation of direction, of course, of light and of dark and so on. So now, again, just like that. With light and dark, and with breadth. The breadth can be extremely light. And as we come back by twisting the charcoal, we can get the lightness in it. And the sharpness again. So this takes a lot of practice and a lot of skill. When we're drawing freehand, these things will happen subconsciously, but we need to practice them. So the line has to start off the page on that side and continue until it goes off the page on that side. Now you'll notice that the best lines are the simplest and cleanest lines, like the first one, and to some extent like this one. So they are the lines with the most aesthetic appeal. They're the lines that appeal to us most. So we need to practice this again. I'll do that. Then we need to look at a couple of objects. Now objects are all over the place, and now in our studio we usually have a lot of these kind of objects. Let me just jump up here and get this one and this one, and let's get a tube of paint. This one. Okay. I'm setting them off to my right hand side here. This one. Sorry. This one. And the tube of paint. And that one. And then I've got this little tin, which I'll also put in. I'll put the little tin in. See behind. Okay. Now we're going to do a drawing of that. Before I can do that, what I need to do here is to, oh dear, to get sure how to do that. Okay, I'll have to leave here. Record. Right. The first teacup goes around like that. And there's a little bit of an ear there. And then the second teacup comes around like that. With a softness here, and we go up and around its ear. And in and meet the body of the second teacup like that. That's our basic shape. Now in this case I feel that I've drawn this shape a little bit too small. I can draw it bigger. So around, get the ear, and pick up the roundness of this one, which comes down like that. It's not much bigger. And then we draw from the top so we can draw the line downwards, which is just 10 times easier. And that ear comes out quite far and around there and close. Okay, that is the... So at the end of the drawing, we can see the lines, the double lines and the single lines. There's the first rough line and then the second line. Only did it twice. One thing that I really wanted to demonstrate, and it got lost in the process, is that it's so much better to draw a line by pulling the line, and I want to just demonstrate a little bit of this. So I'm copying the line to the right of this one, and by pulling it you can get much more control over it, even if you sometimes have to do a lot of gymnastics with your arm to make it work. And then there, the same thing over, and pull it down. Try to avoid scraping it or pushing it like this. That would be scraping and that would be pushing. Much better to get your charcoal back a little bit and pull. And here, so that's not a nice lean, but they pull around the little cup and then around the base of the bottle until we meet the tube of paint, like that, there. So the pulling action. So mistakes, they're fine, but they don't matter, because in lump of clay method, we fix mistakes. We don't fix mistakes, we restate. The mistakes stay there. This one, which now is no longer there, was really just this little thing and this little boat in front of it. That was what it was. And when we carry on with this kind of drawing, then the next nice thing that we can do is we can start shading in. We don't put lines on the inside, no inner lines. We start shading the shadows in the cup, and shadows on the bottle and things like that. And that's great fun. That is our next assignment. But before we go to that, we'll do much more negative shapes and some complicated negative shapes, like, for example, scissors and kitchen tools like bottle openers, or the toughest of all, a chair or a bentwood chair, or 2 bentwood chairs or 3 bentwood chairs lying on the floor with all the shapes you can see through it. Very, very, very nice. And it puts you into a state of mind you can't believe.